Hey guys, what's up? I just bought myself a new dragon shield to replace my Aniki Cosplay one that I wasn't super satisfied with. I got it off of Facebook from Manuel Urbaneck, who goes by Maniac. This is the dragon shield here that I just received, and I figured before I mount it on my Red Ranger, I will do a side-by-side comparison and we'll take a look at the pros and cons of each. Before we start, I'm just going to take a quick pic of the original Aniki Cosplay shield, which came with the suit. Just so you can see a before and after. Now really the biggest problem I was having with it was just that it's one size fits all, and if you're over 6 feet tall like I am, or even just slightly bigger in stature, the shield doesn't quite cover the chest all the way, and you can see all the white from the diamond just overhanging underneath there, and I was just getting kind of bummed out at how small and childish it looked. It looked like an adult trying to squeeze himself into a kid's costume, and it was taking away some of the coolness that I was hoping to achieve with it. So we have Maniacs on the left, Aniki Cosplay on the right, and I have to say I'm really surprised at how wildly different these two shields are, considering that they follow the same convention of having to look like the Green Ranger Dragon Shield. There's just so many differences. I did not expect there to be so many variables in how each one was crafted. First off, let's look at material. So Aniki's material is a nice hard sort of thick foam, and as you can see, it stays rigid when it moves around, whereas Maniac's is a much softer, more pliable foam. There's some give to it. It's a little bit thinner, and it's, I guess, a little more agile. One thing I forgot to mention that I'm going to throw in here right now is that Maniac's is the Zyuranger Japanese stunt shield. He does two. There's the hero version with more of a straight line shoulder, and then there's the stunt one which forms more to the shoulder, I guess, so they can be a little more agile in doing their stunts. So he does make two shapes. I went with the stunt one for Maniac because Aniki's was already the hero cut. And I just wanted to try something as different as possible if I was going to be spending the money. Aniki's is has like a sort of pleather kind of texture over it, and it's spray painted gold, and it's actually quite seamless, and I actually really like that about it. Whereas Maniac's is, if you can see it, more of a fabric that he just sort of went over top with, and anything like any imperfections under the foam, you can kind of see like the little nubs and stuff, like the little bits of pieces that are poking through, because this is really just a piece of cloth over top of it. Now, probably the biggest drawback to Aniki Cosplay's stuff is that he has so much Velcro on everything. Everything is just being torn apart, and the way you strap the underarm bands on is with Velcro, and I don't know if you can see, but every time you pull it off, the Velcro is actually stronger than the glue he uses, so after multiple times you're just going to start tearing your thing apart, and you're going to have to re-glue it. Whereas Maniac's has a lovely zipper that you can just zip up. He put a little string there, I guess, so you can reach behind your back, but it just zips up right in the back, and the armbands are sealed in place, so there's no Velcro needed. You just slide your arms right through. Now, I had some negative things to say about Aniki's suit in my first review, which you can check out if you haven't seen it, but the shield was not one of those negative things. Aside from the Velcro issue and the disappointment in size, the shield itself, if you are the right size and you don't mind Velcro, is probably the coolest part of it. Craft-wise, there was a big piece of Velcro here that kept sticking to the front of the suit and like pulling on it and tearing out threads, so I took the Velcro off here. This lines up with the underarm bits, just got stuck there. But I like the craftsmanship that goes in. There's some reinforcement for pads there. And like I said, it's a really thick, firm piece of foam and feels very professional. Whereas Maniac's is a little more homemade. It feels a lot more like a cosplay suit that's sort of just assembled haphazardly and glued together. Aniki put nice clean lines along it. I think he like sealed it with pleather and painted it, whereas Maniac's, because it's a fabric, just sort of went over and randomly glued it down. And I don't know if I can get in close enough with the camera phone, but he just sort of folded it over, and you can see the line where he just went through and sliced it with a Sharpie just to get a straight line going. So quick look at the armbands. This is Aniki's. It is a thick piece of foam, very rigid, does not have a lot of give. It is Velcroed, and if the Velcro gets snagged on your sleeve, it's going to be tearing off threads as usual. Also, if someone gets a look at you from behind, they will see an unfinished ring around your bicep, whereas Maniac's is much thinner, more pliable, so it has some flex if you need to flex your muscles or if you're going to be working out and growing your biceps, and it's one solid ring. So it looks good from any angle. And side by side, the diamond in the center, Maniac's, is a little bit bigger, maybe by an inch, not that much. The markings are bigger as well, and it's a little bit flatter, so it doesn't stick out on as much of an angle as Aniki's does. It lays a little more flat on the chest. And so here's Aniki's sitting on a person. As you can see, it is much more firm. It doesn't really move around. It's a solid piece. You fasten the Velcro to the front, and every time you peel it off, it tears off the piece of Velcro because the Velcro is stronger than the glue. And it sits a lot higher. The shoulders curve out and expose more of the shoulder there. And it doesn't sit quite as low because the diamond's a little bit smaller. Here's Maniac's Dragon Shield. As you can see, the diamond does go down a little bit longer, but it sits lower. The shoulders slope down, which, I mean, that's how people's shoulders are shaped. They're curved down, they don't sit straight. So it fits a little better to the body, and it has a little bit more of a round off here. And again, the stunt version is the one that you would see in any of the fight scenes from the original Japanese footage. So this is kind of more of the Dragon Shield that I'm used to seeing in Power Rangers, because when they were Power Rangers, it was all Japanese footage. So this feels a little more show accurate to me. And then lastly, in terms of color, I think because Aniki spray paints kind of a pleather material, it's going to be a little bit darker. He uses more of a deep gold. Whereas Maniac uses fabric, it's not painted, and so you're getting a slightly lighter gold and something a little more shiny as well. So that's the difference in terms of coloring. Also, while I'm in here looking at the texture, the spines that come around, Aniki did a really good job molding this thing. The spines kind of round off as they come around, and it makes for a very nice seamless transition. Maniac's looks a little more hand carved, and you can see it's not rounded. It kind of lays flat and then has like straight edges come down, and then there's a sharp point there. When Aniki sort of rounds, Maniac's is a little more 90-degree, like hard lines. And here's Maniac's shield on the mannequin, and it is better. Not by much, not as much as I hoped, but I definitely think it is an improvement. Fits the body a little bit better. And since we're comparing the two, we might as well compare customer service. I have been very vocal about my dislike for Aniki's customer service. He doesn't really try and help very much. His answers are vague. He may reply in 24 hours, but I don't know if it's because English is a second language. He's just not very helpful in terms of updating you and trying to solve problems, and really it shows that he doesn't care about his customers. Whereas Maniac, I have to say, you contact him on his personal Facebook page, so he responds. I don't think I've ever waited more than 30 minutes for him to respond. You can talk to him live, you can talk to him in the Facebook chat, and I think the whole order process took about an hour of me asking questions. He sent photos. He showed me the differences between the two shield shapes, the hero and the stunt. He gave some opinions. He talked about Aniki's and how we tried to work off of it. He's a real person. You can ask him about shipping and he'll give you updates. He's one guy. He has a face. He's not mysterious, and I have to say, just based on that, I would go with Maniac because comparatively Aniki is $360 US, whereas Maniac only charges $300 flat US dollars. So he is less expensive, and he will not disappear on you for months at a time. He got the job done in 7 weeks, and it shipped in 1. I had a tracking number, there were no questions, there were no concerns. I felt very safe shopping with Maniac. So based on that alone, if that's an issue for you, I would go with Maniac for the shield. So there you have it. I did not expect there to be so many differences. I don't even know how to compare the two anymore, and I won't be able to choose a clear-cut winner at all. Aniki's is better material usage, but I'm not a fan of the Velcro, and if only he could just make custom sizes for different body types. On the flip side of that is Maniac, who has better customer service, is less expensive. The material is more lightweight and more flexible if you're going to be moving around in it a lot. It fits better to the body because the human form, the shoulders go down and it actually sort of sits on you better. It doesn't sort of ride up with a lot of space in between. The only downside with Maniacs then is the fact that he didn't really clean up the edges underneath because he uses a fabric instead of like a hard line. I wish he would have maybe found a better way to fold this over so that it just wasn't bunched up fabric. So you've seen the pros and cons, and hopefully that helped you make a decision or just kept you informed about the cosplay Power Ranger world. And I'd love to hear your guys' opinions because I can't make up my mind. There's both so many pros and cons, so many variables. They're different shapes, different colors, different construction. I don't know which one to choose. So sound off in the comments. Please let me know your opinions, and thanks for watching.